Ned was talking to me about an interesting phenomenon, which is as many people as I poke fun of on the channel, you know, and y'all know if you watch the channel, I poke fun of different religious groups and political groups and people who ride certain types of motorcycles and people who ride certain models of motorcycles. But the one group that always gets to get upset about it is the cyclists. Everybody else just kind of chuckles and rolls with the punches, but Ned said that them cyclists, they always send him messages saying that they're pretty upset and they're gonna unsubscribe. So I said, cool, let's make another video about cyclists then. So this is what we're gonna do. First we're gonna set up kind of a scientific experiment, and because I want to prove that cyclists are different than most people. And then second, we'll kind of talk about some of the things that cyclists say in the comments on my other videos about cyclists. And then third, maybe we'll talk about what we can do about this. So first of all, I gotta apologize because the last video, well not the last video, the first video I did about cyclists was called Cyclists Are Jerks. And I was wrong. After reading all the comments and talking to some of the cyclists on the channel, I realized they are not jerks. Jerks kind of just don't care what anybody thinks, whereas cyclists are completely oblivious to what everybody thinks. So it turns out they're actually self-righteous morons. So my fault, I got it wrong, I'm admitting it. Cyclists are not jerks, they're self-righteous morons. So this is what we're going to do for the experiment. We're going to go ahead and we're going to score everybody I see on this ride today. And if they are doing something that like only a self-righteous moron would do, like say riding in the lane, not going the speed limit, being a hazard, then we're going to score that. If they're not doing that, if they're like say maybe out of the lane, see that guy, he's in the lane. He doesn't have to be in the lane, but he's in the lane. So there's one right there. So if they're doing that, then they're a self-righteous jerk. Oh, sorry, self-righteous moron. And we're going to score that. If they're going the speed limit or if they're not in the lane, then they're fine. We're not complaining about those people. Those people aren't a problem. So I'm trying to figure out, like, is it actually cyclists, or is there some other trait? You know, is there a cause or a correlation? So what we're going to do is we're going to score not just cyclists, but we're going to score cars and motorcycles. So if we see any cars or motorcycles in the lane, not going the speed limit, being a hazard, then they're going to get scored. And I was thinking, well, what if it's something else? Like, what if it's just people exercising? What if people who are exercising are self-righteous morons? Now, I like exercising, so I don't think that could be the case. But we're going to score that too. So if we see anybody running, then we're going to go ahead and we're going to score them. And then maybe it's like something to do with the two wheels and no motor, right? So if we see anybody in a wheelchair in the lane not going the speed limit, we're going to score that. And then I was also thinking maybe it's an affluency thing, because you know, it seems that there's this perception, and I don't know if it's right or not, that people with lots of money tend to be, you know, more self-righteous. So I was thinking, you know, okay, what's the analog there? Who exercises a lot and is also affluent? And what I came up with was tennis players. So if we see any tennis players in the lane not going the speed limit, we're going to score them. But at the end of the ride, we're going to look at all the scores, and that's going to tell us in a scientific way if there's a certain group of people on the road who are more likely to be self-righteous morons. So let's talk about some of the comments I get from cyclists, because I think that's also pretty good evidence that they are self-righteous morons. So like the first thing I get a lot is I've said, hey, I really think roads are for cars, right? And, you know, and what I mean by that is I think cars and motorcycles, motor vehicles, are the primary use case for roads. And anybody else who's on the road, that's kind of like being a guest in somebody else's house. You know, you kind of have an obligation to extend some extra courtesy. However, it seems like cyclists seem to demand not. Instead of giving extra courtesy, they actually demand extra consideration. There's one. So what I hear from a lot of cyclists a lot of the time are, you know, look at your history, roads are not for cars. You know, roads were not invented for cars. Okay, look, morons. Do you really think that this road right here exists for any reason other than cars? Like, I get it, okay, like, roads have been around for a long time. But I saw them building this road, and the guys building this road, they weren't wearing togas, okay? They had construction hats on and blue jeans. Okay, they were not ancient Romans. Go to a country that doesn't have a lot of cars. You know what you don't see a lot of? A lot of roads. That's not a coincidence, all right? You know, when you register your vehicle, you're basically paying a tax that goes to help pay for the roads. When you buy gasoline, you're paying a tax that goes to help pay for the roads. If you buy a bicycle, you're paying little to nothing to pay for roads, okay? So if it wasn't for the motor vehicles, the roads would not be here. So yeah, I think the roads are for cars. If you don't get that, then just get out of here. Stop watching the video right now. Go away. Shoot. Another comment I get a lot is, yeah, well, what about all the guys on motorcycles who are, you know, doing wheelies down the highway, or all the guys on Harleys who are just kind of cruising down the road, not going speed limit? Yeah, they're jerks too. I'm not talking about them, okay? What does that have to do with them? There's lots of people who do stupid stuff in the world. We're not talking about them. We're talking about cyclists, all right? I don't do that, okay? You know what? I don't even ride this thing on the highway. The highway here's the speed limit is 65 miles per hour. This bike can go 65, but I don't like doing it, so I don't get on the highway, because I'll pretty much be in people's way if I do. I'm just expecting the same courtesy here from the stupid cyclists. Here's one I get a lot. Where are we supposed to ride? Well, you know, that's not really the point. I mean, that's not my problem. Like, what if I bought a Sherman tank? Could I just go down the highway in a Sherman tank? No, because I would be impeding other people and be a hazard to them. So, you know, just because you have something doesn't mean you got a right to use it wherever you want. Another one I get is, this one drives me really crazy. You're on a motorcycle, it's not that hard for you to go around them. See what's happening right here? See, this person right here, they're in the lane, not going speed limit. These cars were in that lane of traffic to go around them, okay? The first video I made driving about cyclists, the one where people always comment, it's not that hard for you to go around them, you're on a motorcycle. They don't seem to understand this. Okay, first of all, morons, just because I'm making the commentary right now on a motorcycle doesn't mean I spend my whole life on a motorcycle, all right? I spend less than 2,000 miles a year on a motorcycle. I spend over 20,000 miles a year in a pickup truck, okay? You gotta understand that, right? Second of all, there are other cars on the road with me when I'm on the motorcycle, right? So if some jerk is not going the speed limit in this lane and all the cars are backing up behind them, now all those cars and me are now not going the speed limit. And then we go around a corner and I'm worrying the whole time that somebody else is going to come around the corner going the speed limit and take me out. So yeah, you're a hazard, even if I can get by you when it's just me and you. The other problem, well, kind of the same problem, is head-on traffic. So on that video, the first video I did where I was griping about cyclists, the title card and the opening shot was of me coming around a corner and there was a pickup truck in my lane going around a cyclist. That's the problem. It's a hazard. You got to get this, okay? When you're on a road, we have a contract. And that contract is, at the very least, that we're going to stay in our lane and go the speed limit. When anybody, for any reason, breaks that contract, then that becomes a hazard. That becomes a danger to everybody else participating in that contract. All I'm saying is, I think if you're going to get out in the lane of traffic, not going the speed limit, you're being rude. And unlike anybody else I poke fun at, the cyclists, when you say, hey, you know what, I think that's rude, they get upset, they get indignant, because I think they're self-righteous morons. That's all I'm saying. And, you know, and I guess this is kind of part of being self-righteous, but they are completely oblivious to this. Like, you know, the other video, you know, there's probably, for every comment from a cyclist kind of trying to take my head off, there's like 10 other people that are like, yeah, those guys are a problem. Thanks for saying something. So, yeah, but yet they're totally comfortable being in the minority on this. You know, and apparently it's just not me. I was watching Top Gear the other week. I was watching Top Gear from last season. They had a whole episode dedicated to talking about cyclists and how they're self-righteous morons. So, you know, if you want to see something that's really good and really funny about this topic, go dig up that episode of Top Gear. It's hilarious. Matter of fact, Ned, put the episode number up there so people can go find it if they want to go find it. I particularly like the public service announcement in that episode that James May created, so check that out. Wait, is this car being a self-righteous moron? Let's see, they're going, no, they're going, yeah, they're going right at the speed limit. No, they're going a little under. They're going, no, they're close, yeah, they're close. Yeah, so the speed limit's 40, that car was going 36. I probably should score them, but I'm not going to, because even if a cyclist was going 36, I wouldn't score them. You know, if they're going 5 under the speed limit, you know, I'm not going anywhere where it's so important that I can't just wait for them, you know. But they're going 35. They're going 5 under the speed limit. All right, then I'm going to score that. Car, cyclist, person in a wheelchair, runner, tennis player, whoever. They better be going at least 35. Here's another one that I get a lot lately is what a terrible person I am to be spewing hate towards cyclists. Yeah, you know, I don't hate cyclists. Actually, that's a lie. I do. I hate them. I really do. I hate them like I hate warm Dr. Pepper and Philadelphia Eagles fans and, you know, a few other things like that. So what? If you're gonna go out of your way, take some time to post a comment, call somebody names who's spewing hate on the internet, do you think you find somebody better than some jerk who's just putting funny but not really funny videos on the internet? I think maybe you could like go find somebody in the KKK or Radical Islam or somebody like that to gripe about. I mean, there's real problems with hate in the world. If you think this is one of them, then I wish I had the time and energy that you had. I'll just put it that way. So here's an idea. I do have friends that are cyclists. I think he might be going the speed limit. I think he might have been going the speed limit. We're giving him a pass. Yeah. Anyway, so some of my friends are cyclists, and we disagree about this, and you know, that's okay. Friends can get past that. When they're in the road, not going the speed limit, then I hate them too, and they know it. And you know, when they come over to hang out or go ride motorcycles or do something else, we get along just fine. It's cool. You know, now if they were self-righteous morons, then I wouldn't be friends with them. So maybe they're a little bit different. Maybe they're not the typical cyclist. You know what I'm saying? So what are we going to do about this? I mean, what are we going to do to try to solve this conflict? Well, okay. So first of all, one thing we're not going to do is like swerve into the cyclists or not give them room when we can. You know, there's no point in putting somebody in danger when we don't need to put somebody in danger. All right. So, but you know, I don't like things the way they are. I think if I was king of the United States, I'd do something different. So, well, you know, what are some ideas here? So, I guess, you know, we could build more lanes. We could build more bicycle lanes. You know, that's not too bad. However, you got to pay for that. I mean, building roads is expensive, and you know, you can afford roads if you're taxing gasoline and car registration. I don't know that there's a source of revenue that you can tie to cycling to do that, you know. Now, you can make like what, toll roads for bicycles, but I don't think the money's there to make that practical. You know, I think a little bit of money is going to have to come from the automobile to pay for the bike lanes, and that's kind of how things are done in some places now. This shoulder right here was rebuilt to be a whole lot bigger just last year, just for the cyclists. About half of them actually use it, and the other half just stay in the lane. So yeah, I'm okay with that if we all want to agree to it. But you know, I don't think it's actually realistic that we're going to build bike lanes everywhere where cyclists want to ride. So you know, another thing is maybe they should just be registered vehicles. They should just be registered vehicles. They got to have a headlight. They got to have a horn, just like a motorcycle would, and they got to go the speed limit. And if they cause an accident, or you know, if they're in an accident because they're not going the speed limit, then it's kind of on them, just like it would be if they were a car. I think I'm okay with that. The other thing they could do is they could be just like any other pedestrian. You know, they ride along, and they you know, if they're in the road and they're not going the speed limit, the direction of traffic, then they're jaywalking. They get a ticket, and it's their responsibility to stay out of the lane. I think I'd be okay with that too. I think one of the things that drives people crazy about cyclists is they kind of pick and choose when they want to be a vehicle and when they want to be a pedestrian. That's just annoying. You know, like I've said before, like if you're going to go and you're going to say, hey, sometimes these rules apply to me, but sometimes these other rules apply to me, like the kind of person it takes to do that is, I don't know, maybe a self-righteous moron. Yeah, let's ride side by side. That's a good idea. You see this lane right here? See right here, this corner? On a few occasions, I've been coming around the corner just like I am right now, and there's been one or two cyclists right there, not in their lane. So a car was coming around in my lane, at me. What did I do to deserve that? Like, how am I not sharing the road when I got a car coming at me head on because they're trying to go around a cyclist? This is what I'm complaining about. Now, okay, I know what you're saying. You're saying, okay, the car should have waited for the cyclist. Yeah, they should have, but if you sit there and wait for the cyclist after you go around that corner, then now you're going way below the speed limit just after a blind corner, and a car could be coming around it going the speed limit and rear-ending into you. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, the second car coming around the corner should have been going slower in case somebody was doing that. Yeah, but we're all supposed to be going the speed limit so that we don't have to worry about things like that. Yeah, go ahead, side by side, great idea. So here's another thing that helps me think I'm right about this, is I get lots of comments from people who drive for a living, and not a single one of them is like, hey man, get off the case of cyclists. Every one of them was like, yeah, those people are a hazard. They're a hazard when I'm trying to do my job. And I also get comments from a few cyclists that are like, yeah, you know what, I'm a cyclist, I ride, I do that sometimes too, but you're right. For the most part, I hate cyclists, they're jerks. You know, there's just certain traits that happen among certain groups, and I'm just saying, not all cyclists are bad, but there's a disproportionate representation of self-righteous morons among cyclists. So, you know, here's this, like, who was their hero for the better part of a decade? Yeah, okay, there you go. Maybe that can just, the defense rests right there, right? Now, the thing that bothers me the most, it's not that the hazard. You know, what bothers me the most is the attitude. Like, first, they don't acknowledge that they're a hazard. They're complete denial about that. And second, they kind of feel like everybody else on the road owes them something. Is any of this a surprise when they all literally have a stick up their ass? I mean, you go by somebody walking down the road or walking their dog or something, especially if they're kind of in the way and you got to scoot around them, they acknowledge it. They give you a wave. They kind of, you know, they say, hey, sorry, I'm in the way, but, you know, I'm doing my best. Cyclists? No. No, yeah, they're in the way. They don't seem to acknowledge that they're in the way. And when you call them out and say, hey, you know what, you guys kind of seem like a bunch of jerks always being in the way, they just get indignant. That's what bothers me. I mean, I just want them to own it, you know? When I go out on a motorcycle, then, you know, I realize that I'm causing a hazard. I understand that. You know, because the most common form of motorcycle accident is cars turning left in front of motorcycles. And that seems like it'd be really easy to avoid. I mean, you're turning left right in front of a motorcycle. But the thing is that, you know, when drivers are looking to see if it's clear, they're looking for cars. And the brain is just hardwired to filter out information it's not looking for. So even though they see the motorcycle, they don't acknowledge the motorcycle and they turn right in front of it. Now, if I die because I hit a car turning left in front of me, then I'm going to feel bad that I just gave somebody the worst day of their life. And if I had driven my truck instead of a motorcycle that day, that wouldn't have happened. I understand that. But, you know, I like riding motorcycles, so I just try to be extra careful and do what I can to keep that from happening, and if it happens, it happens. The cyclists, man, you get onto them for going too slow in the lane, and they just get irate. It's our fault. We don't know how to share the road. Yeah, well, look here, man. Sharing the road is obeying the contract that we've all agreed on, that we're going to stay in our lane and go about the speed limit. Anybody not doing that, anybody going too slow, too fast, going in and out of the lane, they're the morons that are not sharing the road. That's you. Y'all notice the ones that look like noobs actually seem to be a lot better about it? The noobs, that was actually somebody on a mountain bike too, wasn't it? You know, they're never in the lane. They're going right. It's the ones that are wearing like the pro jerseys and the $4,000 bikes. They're the ones that are always the problem, isn't it? I wonder what that correlation's all about. Come on, you almost got it. Just, yeah, there you go. No, get back over there. Okay. All right, we've been riding for about 40 minutes now. Let's see how the score's looking. Oh, not looking good for the cyclists. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that I got some solid evidence here that they are some self-righteous morons. Everybody else looking pretty good. Yeah, all right. You know why I'm saying it? Because it makes me feel better. That's it. Rather than flipping them off or honking at them every single time they get in the way or every time they put me in danger, I'm just going to get on the internet and make a video, make my case, and gripe about it because it makes me feel better. And there's people who are going to watch it that's going to make them feel better. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If it doesn't make you feel better, if it makes you feel worse, then don't watch my videos. Get out of here. Go watch some of it. Here's an idea. Go search, there's a little search bar up there. Go search for cyclists are awesome. And find some guy who has like a tracker specialized on the wall and their own truing stand and knows when an eccentric bottom bracket is and gets up in the middle of the night to watch a Tour de France and still has their white sunglasses from when they were a big Hincapie fan. Go watch that guy, okay? Leave me alone. Go away. The only way we can all share the road is if we all agree on a set of rules and follow those rules. And if you're dominating space that nobody else is dominating, you're not sharing the road. But anytime I make that assertion, they just get irate. They just get, well, you know what it is? They get self-righteous because they say everybody else is doing something wrong but them. So that's what I don't like. I just wish they would say, hey, you know what? We have a hobby. We have an outdoor hobby that doesn't have a designated space. You know, golfers got golf courses, hikers got hiking trails, mountain bikers got mountain bike trails, cyclists, we got nothing. So we have to enjoy our hobby on a space that was created for some other purpose. And we're sorry. We're not going to stop doing it because we like doing our hobby, but that's just how it's going to be. And then be like, all right, well, that's not self-righteous. That's not moronic. They know what's going on. They're just jerks. Lovable jerks. And I can live with that. And as for the rest of y'all who are picking up what I'm putting down, you know, thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for letting me kind of rant a little bit more than I usually do and letting me vent a little bit more than I usually do. I appreciate y'all. And for next week, I'll see if I can find something a little bit lighter. Y'all have a good week. Over and out.